Okay, I'm going to be going over the powers of Congress, and again, this is kind of like a repeat. If you don't get the powers after one time, two times, three times, four times, eventually you will get the powers of Congress. So the expressed or the enumerated powers, the ones that are listed in the Constitution, are 1, coin money; 2, borrow money; 3, immigration naturalization; 4, declare war; 5, raise and maintain an army and navy; 6, raise and maintain and call up militia; 7, make rules for the army, navy, and militia; 8, make laws for Washington, D.C. 9, collect taxes. 10, regulate interstate and foreign trade. 11, punish counterfeiters. 12, establish post offices. 13, define and punish piracies. 14, promotes the arts with copyrights and patents. 15, create courts inferior to the Supreme Court and maybe change the size of the Supreme Court. And then 16, make all laws necessary and proper to execute the expressed powers, enumerated powers. Now, I combined a couple of them because I always say that there's 18 powers. And I also, where's weights and measures? Weights and measures are in there, so I kind of like left out some of the ones that are multiple ones there. But what I wanted to really get to in the powers of Congress is Congress has judicial powers. So in their 18 of these, they have judicial powers where they create courts inferior to the Supreme Court, and they also determine the jurisdiction of federal courts because they're creating the federal courts and they're creating where they actually have jurisdiction in appeals, not the Supreme Court in their original jurisdiction, but for appeals. So those are the judicial powers of Congress. Executive powers of Congress, they confirm presidential appointments, they ratify treaties. So the president does something like they'll want somebody to be in the executive branch, and Congress basically reviews their resume, reviews them, sees for political reasons whether they be confirmed or not, and then they ratify treaties that the president brings to them, and that's the Senate that does that for both of those. Now, implied powers, these are the necessary and proper powers, all laws necessary and proper to execute the express powers. So examples is the First National Bank of the United States, the Second National Bank of the United States is an implied power. It says the express power is to coin money, express power is to borrow money, express power is to regulate trade, interstate trade, weights and measures. They created the dollar, they created the penny, the nickel, the dime, the $20 bill. So it didn't say create a bank. There's not one express power that says create the bank, but the necessary and proper clause says, well, that's implied. So we have Social Security, we have civil rights laws, we have Obamacare, we have Medicare. A lot of the laws today are based on the express powers. The two common ones that are used are the power to tax, the power to regulate trade. So interstate trade gives Congress the power to make some of the laws. Now, non-legislative powers of Congress is to investigate. Could be investigate steroids in baseball. It could be investigate what happened in Benghazi with Hillary Clinton, or actually why those 4 men died. It could be Watergate. They oversee departments. They oversee the executive branch, and they oversee the judicial branch. So these are the judicial powers, the executive powers, the implied powers, and the non-legislative powers of Congress. So you have not only the 18 powers of Congress, but they're kind of like divided up in different ways, the legislative, executive, judicial powers. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask or post after the video.